I think I found some people we can ask just over here. Excuse me, sir, what do you think of this issue? Hi there, my name is Dominika, and this is another episode of FreeDOMinika, the series where I go out and, oh, there's people going behind you there. Maybe we should get out of the way a little bit. I didn't realize there was a gate there. Hello there, this is another episode of FreeDOMinika. I am, of course, Dominika. And yeah, this is the series where I try new things, go out and do things that make me a little bit uncomfortable, all in an effort to become this new and improved version of myself that doesn't have anxiety, that doesn't have OCD. Yeah, so we've done a few episodes already, a lot of musical stuff so far, but I thought that for this video we could do something quite different. So I'm going to go out here in beautiful Fort Langley and ask some people on the street their opinions about some local issues, just because I am kind of an introverted person naturally, and just, you know, going up to random people on the street and asking them questions, I feel a little bit awkward about that, but you know, as with all the other videos that I've done, pushing myself out of my comfort zone, it's always ended up well. So even though I am nervous, I know that it's going to be okay. I'm going to do it, and we're going to have some good conversations with the people of Fort Langley. So yeah, let's go and find some people to talk to. Here's my question for you. So Adastra Holdings, which is a cannabis company here in Langley, they've recently been granted a license from Health Canada to legally own, produce, sell, and distribute cocaine, which is, you know, a pretty surprising thing to hear. But upon some clarification, they did, under this license, they cannot sell it to the general public, so only to like hospitals, labs, that sort of thing. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that? So what are your thoughts on this?
I think that's a great idea. I think that we have a huge opiate problem here, and I think that producing it in a safe, consistent area where it's being tested and eventually, I'm assuming, being given out to addicts or people struggling, I think that's a great way to go about it.
Okay. Yeah. Could you think there could be any negative consequences?
I feel like there's negative consequences with anything when it goes to like legalizing drugs or producing them in mass. So I feel like it'll even out, like the good outweighs the bad at that point.
All right, we just asked the first people what they thought. We're looking for more people to ask, so we're walking around. It's yeah, I think it's going well. I mean, we've only asked one person so far, so. But yeah, beautiful Fort Langley, lots of people walking around. We're doing it. I am a reporter now.
I think an executive that sent out a press clip made a big mistake. No, this is a whole bunch of nothing, really. So it's a research thing. It has nothing to do with sales to the public, so it ought not to be talked about any further.
Okay. So you're saying you're okay with. I guess what I want to know is, like, are you okay with the fact that they're able to sell this stuff to hospitals and labs and stuff like that?
I don't care.
You don't
yeah,
care?
it doesn't bother me.
Okay.
It would bother me if they were trying to distribute it to the public, but they're not. So.
I think if it's regulated in that way, that I am okay with that. Okay. I can see people's concern, similar to just even marijuana products being legal. That's problematic for some people, but I don't think we've proved that we can manage the drug problem by making it illegal. So yeah, I don't think I would have a problem with it if it's managed well.
And behind the camera, we've got the amazing Duncan D. Decker. The cameraman, look at him. He's so handsome.
It's tough because I don't know too much about it, but the way I see it, I think those kind of substances shouldn't be with anyone for the most part. They're the kind of substances that can ruin lives and stuff like that. So I think just sticking with the stuff that's already been, cleared, it's tried and true, instead of, trying this kind of experiment type thing, I personally don't agree with it, but there's only time will tell.
Yeah. Fair enough. What about you?
I'm going to go with the opposite. I mean, with this fentanyl crisis, we've had so much overdoses, and the rate just keeps going up and up. And I think it's time we look at some other options and new ways, as long as it's being used correctly in the health industry and not outside of that, and only being given to people who actually need it, not just the general public coming in and anything like that. I think as long as it's regulated and cared for, I think it could be a solution to try and forward better our overdoses here in British Columbia.
Just taking a little break right now. I think we're trying to find like a good sample of people that are kind of different from each other in different ages and gender. But yeah, it's been mostly a positive response so far from most people. We got one person that said they weren't a fan of the company being licensed to distribute the cocaine. Yeah, it's just interesting to hear people talk, and it's pretty chill actually. People are pretty nice out here, so thank you Fort Langley for being awesome.
I think it's good that like people who consume like drugs have a way to get it that's going to be safe and also not off some illegal like cartel or something like that. I think it's beneficial, and especially since you can't just walk into the store and buy cocaine, I think really it's overall good.
Do you think there might be any negative consequences?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's not great to be having legal means to get illegal drugs, but if people are going to do them anyways, why not have people have access to them in a way that's going to be safe? That's basically my opinion.
Yeah, so we're still walking around, just trying to find a few more people to talk to. There are a few who just didn't want to talk or said they were not from the area, so they didn't want to answer the question. But yeah, it's been interesting. I think people just don't really like talking to reporters, and I kind of understand why. Sometimes things on the news get skewed, and what people say gets put out of context. So I understand that some people just don't like that, or some people are just camera shy. So I don't think I actually realized sometimes the job of a reporter can be quite difficult. And I think I have a little bit more respect for them now. Not entirely altogether, but I kind of get it now. I kind of get the hustle. So yeah, we're going to try and get a few more people. It's been interesting. It's been a good experience. So yeah. Yeah, so that didn't end up happening. I did not find... Why is my dog drinking water right now? He's just slurping it up so loudly. But yeah, I'm literally just in my pajamas right now, like editing this video that you are literally watching right now, and I just thought I needed to clarify that I did not find any more people to talk to because I was just... Shortly after we filmed that clip, I realized that my social battery was just completely drained and I just couldn't handle it anymore. I was like, you know what? I need to go home and I just need to lay down in a dark room and have a nap because I feel like my senses are overwhelmed and I just... it was too much for me. And I had to call it quits. So I tried my best. But I wasn't having it anymore, so... Yeah. I think I found some people we can ask just over here. Excuse me, sir. What do you think of this issue? Cool. Hey, so it's been a few days since I decided to go out and be a reporter. And, you know, I just wanted to do a bit of a reflection on how I think it went before I end off this video. So, you know, I looked back over the footage, obviously, and, you know, as I've... Excuse me. You know, as I was looking back over the footage and editing this video together, I was like, you know, it looks like I'm having fun and you know, having a good time, but... And, you know, part of me was having a good time and having fun, you know, getting to talk to these different people and being in this role for a few hours. But there's also, you know, the very strong introverted part of me that was like, get me out of here. I don't want to be here and I don't like doing this. And that part of me definitely got the better of me once we wrapped up the filming, because like as soon as we packed up the camera and like drove home, I felt so emotionally and also physically drained. Like my social battery was just empty, and my body was in like stress mode. Like I immediately got a terrible like tension headache. Like I could just feel it all up in my neck and my forehead, and it was just pounding, and it felt so bad, and it didn't go away until the next day. Like I tried to go to sleep and sleep it off, and it was still there the next day when I woke up. So, you know, as much as it was an interesting experience to try this, I don't think I would do it again. Just because as an introvert, it was so draining. And I didn't feel like it was good for my health. You know, with the other videos that I've done and the other experiences that I've gone through, like writing a song, like busking, like just vlogging in public, like I was uncomfortable and anxious initially, but after I did those things, I actually felt better after, and I felt really good about myself. And I knew that I would continue doing those things because I felt like they were things that gave me energy. Whereas with being a reporter and, you know, talking to all these people on the street, that really drained my energy, and I didn't like it. Also, I just felt like I was being intrusive. I don't like being interrupted by random people when I'm just out chilling with friends or shopping. So the fact that I had to do that to other people was also something that I didn't like. And I also really struggle with rejection. And I didn't get rejected by too many people. Like most of the people that I asked to be on camera said yes. But that's because I was very careful in asking certain people. You know, I would kind of like look at who was coming towards me down the street and kind of gauge whether they looked open to doing something like this. You know, you can tell by people's body language if they're like smiling and they just seem kind of happy. I was like, okay, maybe I'll go up to this person. But if they looked a little bit more introverted, like I would, then I would probably just leave them alone. But there were a few who were just too camera shy to do it, or just who didn't want to, right? And even those few people, I just like, haven't had to deal with a lot of rejection in my life. So whenever it comes around, even though I know that in this situation it wasn't personal, and it usually isn't personal, it still like gives me just a bad feeling in my body, and it's hard for me to handle. So that's definitely something that I still need to work on in terms of you know, becoming a new and improved version of myself. But I try not to beat myself up too much about it, because you just have to try your best, and I was trying my best in that moment. And so how can I beat myself up for that? I was just doing the best that I could. And I think that takes courage, and it can be hard when you're trying something new like that. So yeah, those are all the thoughts I have. You know, I'm glad I tried it, but yeah, I definitely wouldn't do this again. Not my cup of tea, and you know, that's okay. That's life. So thank you so much for, you know, watching and being on this journey with me. I really appreciate it. And let's see what crazy thing I can come up with for the next episode. All right, see ya.